If national surveys are to be believed, 2020 drove many people to drink. People reported consuming more alcohol, especially at home. But in Alaska, the numbers show an interesting trend. Sales of almost every kind of alcohol were down in 2020. The one that took the biggest hit? Craft beer.
Feels like everybody's drinking more, but it's not quite the actual truth.
Lee Ellis is president of the Brewers Guild of Alaska.
That's why I do this job.
His business, Midnight Sun Brewery, took a big hit during months of mandated closures.
At about a third of 2020, we were closed.
But, he says, the biggest blow to the industry as a whole was the loss of a huge customer base. COVID kept summer tourists away.
And it probably isn't that Alaskans are drinking less, but it's probably more to do with we didn't have 2 million people come to the state this year and drink alcohol.
While breweries, bars, and restaurants struggled during 2020, another industry was going strong. Marijuana stores, deemed essential businesses, never closed.
This is our guava.
And many had record sales.
Sales in 2020 were up, which is incredible. So it's been our best year yet.
Momo's Bakery makes edible marijuana products and sells them to cannabis stores all over the state.
This is a new favorite, I think, around here.
They say sales went up when stimulus checks came out. And given the year, it seemed a lot of their customers just wanted to chill.
Maybe they're spending more time at home and they feel more comfortable exploring marijuana, and edibles in particular are a really fun thing to start with.
But not everyone was hanging out at home. Instead of the gym, scores of people hit the trails in 2020 to enjoy the great outdoors.
And it's incredible. There's more people than I've ever seen before.
Outdoor recreational equipment of almost any kind flew off the shelves. At the bicycle shop in Midtown,
And we've sold through most of those very, very quickly.
the biggest challenge is keeping things like fat tire bikes in stock.
I think we're hearing the same thing from ski stores, from other motorized recreational outdoors equipment. Just that stuff has just been incredible this year.
Of all the negative things that happened in 2020, the hope is this healthy trend is one that will continue well into 2021.
Looking out at this misty coastline in southeast Alaska, you're probably not thinking let's jump in and go snorkeling. Fred Drake, the owner of Snorkel Alaska, did think that just over 20 years ago.
Yeah, the water's cold, but you got a really thick wetsuit. Totally keeps you warm.
It is very thick, and as you can see, you look very graceful when you squeeze into it. But now that's done, eventually. Gonna be warm.
There you go.
It's a quick trip and walk to our snorkel spot.
And now, if you want to put the gloves on, you can do that.
Before it's time to explore. Beneath the black surface of the water, there is a surprising amount of color.
Today, the Eagle is at the Bird Treatment and Learning Center in Anchorage, where vets who think she may have been hit by a car have determined there are no broken bones.
It seems to work well.
But there is one thing they're worried about.
She's a fighter.
It's her left eye.
If it is a blind eye, then the prognosis is poor. But otherwise, this eagle has got a great chance. So it all depends on if we have good sight or not in that eye.
The eagle needs good vision to hunt and sustain herself in the wild. It will determine whether she can be released.
This is great.
Brian Garsh says he's hoping for a full recovery, and he wouldn't hesitate.
It was a great experience, the whole thing.
To do any part of this again. The Alaska Chip Company has been making potato chips at their Anchorage location since 2003. But very recently, one of their signature flavors has literally risen to the top.
So it's the barbecue chip that won the award.
The recognition comes from America's Test Kitchen, which sought to find the country's best barbecue chips They tested 30 small regional brands that most people have never heard of and came up with 6 clear winners. Alaska Chips Grizzly Barbecue was one of them.
Now, by next week, we're getting a delivery of our Alaska potatoes.
Owner Ralph Carney says he never expected it. In fact, he didn't know there was a contest until he got a call he'd won. But in one way, he isn't surprised.
We've been making our potato chip for 18 years, and so I've known it's been good.
Carney says a good chip starts with a great potato. The company uses Alaskan grown from Palmer whenever it can. And then, of course, there's that special barbecue seasoning.
This is the secret sauce, as it were.
This is the secret sauce, yep.
That gets sprinkled on by hand. Every chip is examined for quality, and only the winners make it into the bag.
This was the home of people that lived here year-round, and the disregard for that history is really unfortunate.
The damage comes just as the mine is opening up for tours to the public. And while there are still plenty of places to explore, Leitner says the State Parks Department doesn't have the budget to properly fix the 3 buildings that were hit.
The way it is right now for the damage that I just walked through with you, I don't see those being open for the foreseeable future.
He says vandals may have robbed people of a special experience, but he's hopeful they'll be caught, and he wants to remind people this is still a special place.